How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. We gotta talk about this Immortal weapon team coming to Marvel Strike Force. This is gonna be your new Mystic Raid team, and with them, they are heralding in a new raid, which is gonna be called the Annihilation Omega Raid. It's the same raid we're currently doing, but instead of having an individual difficulty selector, you and your alliance pick the difficulty out the gate. There's 2 lanes that are taken off the map, so we're gonna be sharing nodes, and instead of getting node rewards, we're going to get rewards based on our alliance completion, like we did for the old Chaos raids, Orcus raids, Doom raids. All those are the raids. If you were here playing Marvel Strike Force at that time, you know what to expect. But this is a raid team, and although we will show that raid footage, they're going to beat the nodes. It's a tagged node. They have to be able to beat the nodes. All raid teams do that. So I'm kind of more interested in what this team is capable of outside of that. And you are going to be absolutely shocked what this team is capable of in war. It's kind of crazy. Before we jump into the war footage, though, I want to talk about what these characters are bringing so we kind of know what we're dealing with. Lady Bullseye, lots of AoE damage, lots of debuffs, and with her team, if she has 3 Immortal characters, she's stopping speed stat gains from non-mythic characters. It doesn't say non-mythic characters in her kit. I believe that's going to be a text change that gets added. I'm going to have her as a raider because of those multi-hits and because she does have a lot of inner crit play. She also stops the enemies from critting, by the way. She can go play with a Thunderbolt team if you want. I don't think there's value in doing that. I think you're going to keep this Immortal weapon team together because they are crazy. Then we got Swordmaster. Swordmaster is going to be playing around with defense down. Lady Bullseye plays around with offense down. With defense down, he's going to be healing your characters. He's going to be providing energy, which is incredibly important for what we're going to talk about in war. And he's also going to be removing safeguard and immunity and doing lots of sort of bigger all enemy attack damage. He's crazy. His ultimate hits multiple times. I have him as a raider for that reason, and I think you're going to see why that is probably the right call. OG Iron Fist actually got a real rework. His passive is going to be doing a gigantic damage reduction for the team while he has charges, which he does get on spawn. Really crazy. He's doing lots of heals, lots of cleanses, and does decent damage, as well as giving your team speed up, which is huge. I have him as a healer just because those heals are incredibly important. Steel Serpent, he is going to be assisting on every attack if he's allowed to. Also, with his passive, if you have X amount, 3, of Immortal Weapon allies, you're going to be stopping yourself from having your speed bar reduced, which is a incredibly powerful effect. Really like this guy. I didn't believe in his damage at first, and then I saw him do something crazy, and we're probably going to try and replicate that. He's going to be playing a lot with slow. He's going to be putting slow on a bunch of enemies, and when enemies have slow, he's going to be reducing their turn bar, which is cool. I have him as a striker just because as someone who's going to be doing the assists all the time, that's going to increase that sort of basic damage a little bit more. He does put slow out on his assist, and I just didn't want to really lean into that triple tap attacks where, say, we have Lady Bullseye and Swordmaster as strikers and he's a skirmisher. I didn't find that was giving me enough value, so instead he'll be the striker and he'll get some damage for it. Iron Fist World War II. This will be the first character you sub off the team. He's okay. He does heals. He does his stun. He does what he used to do. I'm happy he's getting subbed off and not OG Iron Fist. Now, let's jump over to war and let's do some crazy testing. As I did hear rumors, these guys might be able to topple the Brimstone Apocalypse. Let's go put that to the test. Alright guys, so here we are on some war testing, and people seem to think that this Immortal Weapons team might be the answer to Brimstone Apocalypse, which would be insane. Brimstone Apocalypse are a war team. They were released last patch. They should mop the floor with the Immortal Weapons, right? And I expect that to be the case. Right away, Daemon goes, he decays our effects, he gives us a bunch of debuffs, Hellcat goes, we're gonna get stuns all over the place. We're gonna die by 1,000 cuts here. There's no way this is gonna work out for us whatsoever. That Apocalypse, by the way, is not empowered, so we could have just got Apocalypse punched, and then we're dead. It's over. So, no. Immortal Weapons does not beat Brimstone. That is crazy. Unless you know what Brimstone does. So Daemon does need to be the first character to go in order to do his decay effect. So what if we have a character that goes before Daemon? A great character that synergizes really well with stopping any stream killing you is going to be Yo-Yo. No one on the Immortal team is a protector. Iron Fist, our tank, is a brawler. So Yo-Yo will be putting offense down on the enemy on their turn. Also, she goes before the Daemon. Now, because she goes before the Daemon, and before Blue Marvel for that matter, he no longer decays our effects. we're still going to have to eat a lot of damage here. So maybe we're still going to be in a whack load of trouble. But hey, we got to keep our immunities, so no stuns are coming out for us. And now it's our turn. That Apocalypse, he's not empowered, so if he were to do his Falcon Punch, I think this matchup will play out differently. But I could see a world where if your Lady Bullseye is big enough, you will one-shot that Apocalypse. Now let's see Swordmaster do his special. Beautiful animation, by the way. Look at that. Incredible damage. Living Mummy just died for the first time, but his abilities are going to give him revive back. So he's not out of his pre-taunting structure just yet. Although he didn't get it there. Let's go ahead and ult on top of this Daemon. Alright, no assist comes in, but we'll do the ult with Steel Serpent on Daemon. And he is gone. He is dead. He's Deadmon now. And we get to beat Brimstone Apocalypse with Yo-Yo and the Immortal. This is crazy. This should not be the case. I would not be surprised if they have to buff, yes, buff, the Brimstone team in response to this. Maybe they make it so Brawlers can't get charges either, because if we didn't have the damage reduction on our Iron Fist, we would have lost that fight. But I thought that was such a crazy find. I had to share that with you guys. But with that out of the way, let's talk about some more other meaningful matchups we could use the Immortal characters for. And it's going to be a lot of the same. So if we try the Immortal weapons team up against this Mephisto Fantastic Four, on paper, this shouldn't be too bad because we're stopping the speed stat for the Fantastic Four characters, but we're actually not stopping the speed stat for Mephisto, and then he gives them offense up. Now, the Fantastic Four people, particularly Invisible Woman, they're already innately faster than us, and because they're faster than us, they get to strip all our buffs off, and then Invisible Woman gets to do her ultimate to us. And we die, right? So if we wanted to beat this team, we definitely have to bring in something like a Emma OG to go before them. But Mephisto will still do his thing. Once again, I don't know if that's just a missing part of Lady Bullseye's kit where she is supposed to stop Mephisto, but she's not, so that doesn't work. Another notable team we can test them up against would be the Absolute A-Force team. This is another team that is somewhat interesting, right? We have some good damage reduction. We're going to be able to stop the speed stat that Medusa has out there. We're very tanky, so will Kahori actually be able to do her job to us, or will we be able to take the enemy team out? Well, let's find out. Alright, some good damage goes out there. Our Iron Fist is getting beat up. He can't be rewound here, though, and no ability block, right? Because he has the immunity safeguard. And now Iron Fist is probably going to pop right back up here. Excellent. This will remove charges. I'm not necessarily sure that's something we want to do yet. I don't think we want to reduce the charges, as that's going to give safeguard on a bunch of buffs to the other Absolute members. So we'll maybe chill on that for a second. There goes the Kahori special. We had safeguard, so nothing gets flipped. That's good. Some decent damage from Medusa. Let's use the special, because that's going to AoE people. Alright, so now they have defense down and trauma. That's huge. That's absolutely huge for us. Now, if I can get off of her, I absolutely would. The ultimate from Iron Fist applies speed up to my character, so that seems pretty good. Ult from Super Skrull, we had safeguard, we had everything we needed to. Just kind of laugh at that ability. Maybe I should have just basic there, because we can't really do anything to this Miss Marvel Classic anyway. Good damage goes out there. Super Skrull is still out there, just kind of tickling us, trying to do his best impression of a useful character. Oh, here we go. So we're off of her attack. She will retaunt in a second, but we'll try and avoid the Miss Marvel Classic. Ooh, look at that Lady Bullseye damage. That was crazy. That was some hard hits. All right, great. But now we're stuck on the pre-taunt again. Maybe if I had saved the special from Swordmaster, I could have got kills there, but not really, because the defense down was what made Lady Bullseye kind of pop off so hard there. Kahori doing insane damage. We got lucky she didn't target our Lady Bullseye there. We're getting super lucky that they're not targeting Lady Bullseye with that defense down. But even with luck, it wasn't enough, so we're going to lose this matchup. Is there a plug-and-play character that can make this work? Yeah, absolutely. Mephisto would probably make this a cakewalk. Iron Fist, World War II did nothing for us. There's probably other plug-and-play characters that can make that work, but I just don't see really the use in it. So, Brimstone Apocalypse, yeah, I guess if you're on even footing, maybe you can get that done. Fantastic Four, Mephisto, not so much. Absolute A-Force, not so much. Everything else you'll beat. Everything else you'll beat. This team is the best version of Astral they've ever tried, right? This team is a hit me with your best shot and I'm going to retaliate really hard. And they do that really well. I assume they get their butt kicked by Odin. Against Odin, you would need some sort of anti-battlefield effect for it to work. Odin will probably kill us by 1,000 cuts, I would assume. His passive is just going to start going crazy. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so there goes the Odin. His battlefield effect is now up. Let's get the charges off of this guy. It should work because we get so much focus. One of the character kits gives us 200% focus for every single immortal character that we have. That first Odin battlefield effect, it just smashed us. So to endgame Thanos. But look at that. Iron Fist healing goes crazy. Okay. Oh, the speed bar the Black Knight got is hurting us a lot here. Alright, let's special so we get the immunity off a lot of these guys. Cool. Probably need to go over here now, get the speed up off of Odin. Put speed up on ourselves. We have safeguard, so we should actually get to benefit from that speed up a little bit here. We're hurting the Odin, so somebody has an anti-battlefield effect off because we did get the battlefield effect off of him. We don't want to stun him, and I don't want to kill this guy. So does basic single target? Attack primary and the most injured non-summoned ally. Oh, that might be Thanos, so we want to avoid hitting Thanos. Alright, Jean Grey doing her thing. I guess they'd actually just double tap the actual, so I could have done basic to Odin there. Alright, we'll do the special here. Lady Bullseye goes hard. Thanos got wrecked. Screw your passive, dude. Oh, are we actually going to get the Odin dead through his charges before he gets to go? I'm very impressed. Hey, calling me impressed. This team is doing great things in war. Let me be honest for a second, though. I don't think Brimstone is going to work in a live war. You got to keep in mind you're going to have the Empowered Apocalypse, who I do think could YOLO one-shot somebody out the gate. I do think the Mephisto Fantastic Four team not working kind of sucks. And this team here, there's lots of counters for this sort of team. Lots of counters for Absolute A-Force, even if they did work against Absolute A-Force. And though they'll beat everything else, what's the real value in that, right? I would argue that this team is probably going to find itself on the defensive side. Unlike Thunderbolts, they're a much better team when they are a cohesive unit staying together. So I think this team will stay together. We're not going to get any Mighty Avenger play or any Thunderbolt play. This team stays together. They become a really annoying team to face on defense. This is going to go horrible because Gore just stripped all my charges off. They'd be a horrible team to face in war because they have that really big damage reduction. They have the pre-taunt. They have the immunity, things that, you know, there's some particular weapons that get rid of that, but those weapons are pretty rare. Okay, so I do think this team finds itself on defense, and that's probably healthy for the war meta. And I'd be very interested in what you guys think. Yes, I kind of hyped up that Brimstone Apocalypse counter, but knowing that Apocalypse wasn't empowered definitely changes things. Maybe it would still work, which would be absolutely crazy. Obviously, Professor X is a no-go. But, you know what? Let me know what you guys think about their use in war. This will be similar to their use in Crucible, which is bonkers, right? But this is a raid team, so let's go look at the new raids and see what they're doing there. Alright guys, so shifting gears over to the raids, we do have the new Annihilation Raid Omega, and we'll take this opportunity to go over the rewards. So, if you're doing difficulty 10 at 100% difficulty, which does require the Immortal Weapons, you can expect to get 4,800 Gear Tier 20 Orb Fragments, as opposed to if you're doing the 9 nodes currently on difficulty 9, in Annihilation Raid 2, you're getting 3,870. So we're getting an additional 1,000 of the Gear Tier 20 Orb Fragments. That's nice. We're getting a nice little bump in everything else across the board too. It looks like it's around 20%, give or take. So, I mean, that's cool if you're doing 100%. If you're doing 85%, it drops down to 4,080. If you're doing 50%, it drops down to 2,400. And now, because Omega requires the Alliance to all do the same difficulty, you really need to be careful. You do not want to do Annihilation Raid Omega unless your Alliance is doing at least 85% on difficulty 10, and I'm not sure how that trails down into their difficulties. I don't actually have access to do that without just like doing the math from here. So we want to make sure that we're getting the right rewards for all of our players. If you're able to do more on the current raids, do more on the current raids. Now, I don't know why I was actually recording a video on this. I don't know why I got it in my head that this was a new raid. This is not a new raid. These are just the same nodes we've already been doing, right? I got up to like, you know why I didn't know until I got to one of these nodes? It's because I haven't actually played these nodes in months. I just simmed them. I got up to the Hellfire node. I was like, wait a minute, I recognize the Zombie Iron Man. And then I get to the Insidious 6, and I look over, okay, we got a Kestrel, start this one over. Let's go ahead and check the other raids. Let's check that first Insidious 6 node, I think is right here. And look, oh, does that not look familiar? It's the same raids. The only difference is the Immortal weapon. So I'm not going to do a whole video on the new raids. We kind of went over the rewards here. We'll do the Immortal nodes here. Let's just sim our way through these guys. So we got the Insidious 6. I think there's 2 Insidious 6 nodes if I'm not mistaken. There is 2 Insidious 6 nodes. Again, it's the exact same one. And then I believe we're on to our Immortal weapon nodes. Oh, also the boss node is the exact same. So we're not going to do the boss node either. We need content. We need content. I miss non-tagged raids where like they would zone out Pegasus by having North Star on there. I'm like, that's really cool. And then we would find like a really painful solution using Sinister 6, and we'd kind of be able to dogpile 2 lanes, not 3 lanes, and we would suffer through them for like a month, right? And then Orcus would come out. So we would still be wanting the Orcus team so we could sim it and not have to do that daily. But we found a solution, and it's not like, all right, the team is released, buy the team and you can do the nodes, or you just can't, and you're just like, no content. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I miss that. Let me know what you guys think about raids in their current state. Yes, they're supposed to be daily check. I don't like having to think about raids for 30 minutes a day. I feel like it should be at least a little bit more, right? Am I crazy? Anyway, let's just go ahead and we'll do the Immortal weapon nodes. Looks like we got some Liberty. Oh, we got some Extreme. We have some Alpha Flight. Interesting. Now, from the very brief experiences I've had with this team so far, we're not really relying on gaining speed bar like North Star stops. I accidentally hit sim. Okay. We're not really relying on gaining speed bar. I'm sorry about that. I can't redo this. It's 1 hour before this video goes out. But we're gonna play the other one. We're not relying on gaining speed bar. We are kind of relying on reducing speed bar. Lots of slows, lots of debuffs, and that should be good. You know what? You're welcome. I just cut the video time in half. I assume the way that node is going to go and the way this node is going to go is the game's going to crash. But if you have the right team, you're going to immediately walk over it. Give me a second. All right, cool. Let's try this one more time. We got the Immortal weapons. This is the second node. Sorry about simming the first one there. I'm sure another content creator will be covering it. Let's see how they're going to do. This node looked kind of difficult. I saw Superior Spider-Man, so maybe we're going to have a bunch of Insidious 6 characters here. We do know there's a North Star. There's a Scorpion on the node and some Starjammers. Okay, we got some Pegasus. Okay. So with our damage reduction from Iron Fist and then his incredible healing, I assume we're just going to let them beat us up and then we're going to out-heal it. And this is exactly how you would want it positioned if you're a free-to-play player and you're unlocking these characters at lower stars, right? You would want your 2 Reaver characters that presumably you can get, if not diamonds, at least 7 red stars on, and they'll take the hits as well as you've seen my guys do here. All right, we get a bunch of debuffs, and because it's raids, it's going to reduce a lot of those buffs. Excellent. So we got all that stuff off. I kind of want to do the special here, but this is not how the sim would play it. Holy jeez, that was such a satisfying ability. Are you kidding me? We might have to slow it down to see some of these cool abilities. All right, there's the alt, Big Punch. I kind of wish they gave Iron Fist a decay on his punch, but it is what it is. All right, this is going to hit... Primary, applying slow, on kill. Okay. I want to hit somebody really hard here. Let's slow this down. Let's see if he can actually punch. Did not do it good in war. Way cooler. Still not a lot of damage. Kind of upsetting. I guess he's a controller after all, so it is what it is. We got a good stun. I don't know, guys. Iron Fist World War II is absolutely clapping cheeks over here. Let's slow this down. All right. In the comics, she can go all poof smoke mode, which I think is cool. They added that. Gives her an actual reason to be Mystic, right? All right, cool. The assist comes in. All right. I kind of want to slow... So we've been getting energy, and we could do by the power of Grayskull and hit a bunch, and that would be cool. But I want to see this ability in slow-mo, because this ability looks beautiful. All right? He's Garen, dude. He's literally Garen spinning to winning over here. That's so fun. Our animation department might be the best thing Marvel Strike Force has. We got some pretty cool stuff, but that animation department goes crazy. Primary and adjacents flipping positives and negatives, but they got safeguards, so that's not going to happen. It will reduce turn bar. Let's see. All right, Steel Serpent. Prove that you're not terrible. It can be dodged. You're not great, I'll tell you that much. Yikes. Yikes. Steel Serpent, questionable. Is he the one that does the can't be Terminator rewound? He might very well be. He is. Yep. Okay. I was about to say he's got to have something on his kit that makes him irreplaceable because he's a new character, but he seems to be trash. And it looks like we found what it was. We found what it was. Okay. Let's slow this one down for the alt. We're just kind of looking at animation at this point. This is what raids are. Like, we just got to accept this is what raids are. When you have the solution to raids, it's not supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be easy. The fact that I'm doing this with 7 Red Star characters tells you nothing. If I was in here with 3 Red Star characters, then maybe we could have a conversation about kill order, this, that, and the other. Even then, that hasn't been true for the last whatever raid teams, right? I guess sometimes Hellfire and Insidious 6 died, but not a lot. All right, big damage. And the way we're seeing Iron Fist World War II just shred enemies, you're going to get your charges up quite often on your OG Iron Fist. So I think that this team is going to be just good at low stars. Look at all these stuns, too. Look at this damage. Here we go. It didn't do a lot of damage this time. They're making me a liar now. What is going on with this team? All right, here's my final verdict on this team. They're definitely a raid team. They're definitely going to be okay in war defense. Besides that, nothing crazy. There is no new raid. It's just the same as before, except now we have the team version of the raid, which is cool. You would think that would come with some sort of leaderboard shakeup so that we would actually have a reason to want to push. Keep in mind that you want to check what your alliance is actually going to be capable of as far as Omega completion goes, and compare that to what you are currently gaining for Gear Tier 20, as that is the kind of the main reward in raids. Just make sure you're not missing out on stuff. Let me know what you guys think about Iron Fist and the Immortal weapon team. I think the animations are beautiful. I think it's cool they flex into other teams. I don't think they will flex into those teams, though. It doesn't seem to shake things up enough. I think you will see this team on war defense, which is okay, because we could probably use another, A- team defense to shake up the war meta a little bit. Hope you guys are happy, healthy, and having yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.